Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday the 29th of September, ending Friday, October 4th. We go into the fourth quarter. Let's talk about the layout for the week ahead. First of all, Monday is the last day of the quarter, statements print, so that can be a little bit slow. And then hopefully we get a decent run and move in the market from here. Obviously, there's been some news over the weekend out of the Middle East, and we'll see how that plays out. In terms of the rest of the month of October, we're pretty wide open. I think there's one bank holiday that's not a stock market holiday, but we've got 4 straight weeks here, almost until we get to Halloween, and then we head into November. Remember, usually when the markets get to, if they're up for the year, and you get to about November 15th, then they keep running because nobody wants to sell and take their profits and pay their taxes for that year. So we'll see where we're at that point. Obviously, we're doing pretty well right now. We'll look at that in a minute here. All right. So here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. And, still sitting where it was back in October. Nothing super exciting there. Euro dollar, usually the inverse of the dollar index, but not so much lately. Also near highs. Pound dollar at highs, although it got a 13 sell signal this week. So let's be aware of that. Here's the ES front month futures contract. Also made new highs this week. So like I said, when you go back to January 1st on this chart, and we're up 700 points this year on the S&P right now. If we hold somewhere up here in the positive area, like I would say even above 5,500 by November 15th, you're probably going to run into the end of the year. Here's the S&P cash, obviously the same deal. NASDAQ 100, not quite at highs, but getting close again. So the economy remains strong, the markets remain strong, and we're up for the year. Russell 2000 also near highs, but did not make them this week. Crude oil coming back down a bit, 68.18 on the close. It did get lower the week before, but 68.18 for the close on Friday. And kind of seeing it at the prices at the pump, at least here where I'm at. Bitcoin deteriorating here, 53,669 as I do this. Kind of near the lows of the last 6 months. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, has pulled back a bit. I think a lot of the obviously bonds down, rates up, but that's just because the market had already factored in the Fed cutting. And so, a little bit of a pause there, but, if there's more cuts to come, we'll probably see this turn and move back to highs. The VIX closes at 1696 on Friday. It's not horrible, but it's not super active. We obviously had that spike in August. Advanced decline ratio on the New York, 726, but it had 2 negative days and 3 positive days for the week. So it's kind of just a mixed bag. And really, when you see the intraday charts, nothing much happened. Trend, the trend closed at 0.77. That puts the 10-day at 0.99, which is above the blue line, which is the 0.85 level. So there's no signal there at all. Just an average trend lately. Now here's the ES. And as you can see, we basically gained 20 points, 30 points for the week. Nothing. Monday was flat. Tuesday was filled a little gap from Monday and then came back up. Wednesday was flat. And at that point, you weren't really anywhere. Then Thursday gapped up, came back, filled the gap, and closed a little bit higher. And Friday, generally flat, and came back down. So, no progress really made for the week on the week. Here's the NASDAQ futures. Not much here either. Pretty much the same story, obviously. NASDAQ volume's been decent. Usually around 5 billion shares most of the days of the week. So that's where we stand on all that. Now, in terms of some of the individual stocks that we like to follow on the daily charts, here's Apple, near highs, good breakout. It's a nice base. Amazon, about to get a 13 sell signal if it were to go up a little bit here, so be aware of that. Meta closes near highs. Google closes closer. It's mid-range basically for the year. Goldman Sachs closing near highs. This thing was strong all week. Netflix did make new highs at one point this week. Pulled back a little bit on Thursday and Friday. Tesla about to break out. This is one that we're going to watch. A breakout over 270 on Tesla could get interesting. Nvidia, not at the highs or anything special. That 13 sell signal back in July was the top on NVIDIA after the incredible run that it's had, of course. Zoom near highs also cupping, and First Solar making a broad cup that could eventually break out, but we're not there yet, obviously. So that's a look at some of the major stocks. Let's look where the market's at. That's a discussion about the layout for the week and the month ahead as we hit the fourth quarter already. I can't believe it's the fourth quarter. In terms of economic data coming out this week, on Monday, we have here in the U.S., Chicago PMI at 945 and a couple of Fed members speaking. That's about it. On Tuesday, we've got the JOLTS job openings, ISM manufacturing PMI, final manufacturing PMI, and construction spending at 10, Ward's vehicle sales at some point during the day, and more Fed members speaking. On Wednesday, we've got the ADP non-farm employment change number, more Fed members speaking. Everybody's talking right now. Crude oil inventories at 10:30. That's the weekly number. Friday, we've got the unemployment, the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers, the final services PMI at 9:45, ISM services PMI at 10, natty gas at 10:30, and then on Friday, we've got the unemployment rate, which could be a big deal. So that's probably the number the market's going to focus on. Australia does their daylight savings time shift next weekend. Not that that's going to change the world a lot, but we are getting to that point in the year. We're still a month away from doing it here in the U.S., but you're going to start to see some of these countries do it. And remember, what that does is throw off some of. Some of the countries are then an hour different from what they are in terms of being synced up with us, and it does sometimes play a major role, especially when the European countries do it. So that's the layout. That's the schedule. I would think personally that Monday's not going to be the most exciting day because it is the end of the quarter and the statements are going to print. But you never know because of this news in the Middle East over the weekend. And then we'll see from there. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.